everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
Okay, so story time on basically the spring break week from hell. For the spring break trip, me and my friends decided to stay at Rio Republica in Punta Cana from Monday, March 3rd through Friday, March 7th. And I just want to preface that I've been on many vacations before, and this is by far like the worst that I've ever been on. And I've also stayed at Rio Bamboo back in 2019, and it was a really good like vacation besides the food, but everything was fine. But this resort was just like unacceptable. I also want to say I'm not trashing on the staff that was at the resort. They were very nice and very accommodating and deeply tried to make this experience like a very enjoyable one for us. It was just the one customer service agent that we just had a lot of problems with and was very rude and dismissive towards us. Okay, so to start, before we even got to DR, me and my friend almost didn't make it on the plane because of the e-ticket that you have to fill out. And I'm gonna admit that it's our fault. We should have fully read our email and saw that we had to fill out this form and the night before, and we didn't. But when trying to fill out the form the day of, it wasn't working. It wasn't letting me like select the day of my birthday. I would get through the whole form and try to submit it, and it would say like network error. I think I submitted about like 10-15 times and it still didn't work. And then when it comes to transportation, the transportation is free when you book like through Ryu, but our experience with the transportation was just a little off, a little weird. So there like wasn't much seats left, so my friend had to sit like in the front, but it was like a 3 like seater, so it was like fine. But while she was sitting up there, the driver was kind of like touching her leg, looking at her like repeatedly, like just in a weird way, making her kind of uncomfortable. And he also passed our resort to drop off other people to then loop around back to our resort. So then we were the only ones left like in the car, and he like pulled out his lighter and like lit it up and like gave us a look, and we just like kind of didn't really know what was going on because like I know some Spanish but not a lot, but like it was almost as if he was insinuating like smoking, and we were just like, we just want to get to our resort. Then at the resort, it took us almost like over 2 hours to check in, but literally the first day 2 of my friend's key cards weren't working to open up the room, and there's also only one plug by the bed. The other ones are like scattered around, but even the other ones are like hard to charge your phone because they're very loose and your charger will fall out. So we were using like glass cups to like hold it up. And also anytime that we tried to request like new towels to like shower, wash our face with, they smelled like puke. And we did bring this up to customer service and they just like did nothing about it. So the second day, Tuesday, we woke up and there was no running water, and I put a request in on the app, and I think they ended up fixing it like a couple hours later, but we had no running water to like shower, brush our teeth, like go to the bathroom. Like we couldn't flush the toilet. We ended up using the water bottles because we were just like, whatever, like it's a little bump in the road, like we can use the water bottles, it's fine. But later on it got worse. But like overall, like the first day, like the staff was nice, the food was decent. When it comes to drinks, don't expect them to kind of like be good or be exactly what you're kind of used to. Like there's so many people at the bar that the bartenders don't have time to really like take their time and make the drinks like kind of correctly. They kind of just throw everything together and give it to you, so the drink might not be like what you expect it to be. Wednesday morning at like 1:30 a.m. like the resort entirely like shut down, like power, water, everything. I think the power turned on around like 6 a.m. because in our room the lights turned on, so we woke up, but then I think it only lasted an hour and then it shut back off because then we woke up again at like 8. The power was not on anymore. And I know you guys are saying in the comments that like DR is a third world country, and I know that, but I have been to DR before and been to other resorts, and this has like never happened to me. I know the locals live like without water, without like electricity sometimes, but when you're paying and using your own money to pay for a resort, you expect to at least have the basic necessities, or for the resort to have like a backup generator or like a contingency plan in place in case any of this happens, or to at least inform the people that are staying at the resort that they're like working on it, that like they're gonna try and solve it as soon as possible. Here's some like solutions to help you like in the meantime. None of this like happened, and like we weren't informed on anything, and we had friends that were staying at other resorts or other reuse, and this wasn't happening to them at all. But like me and my friends were looking forward to this trip for months, and for them it was their first time going to DR, and I wanted them to enjoy the island as much as I have in the past, and for this vacation to be the first vacation and their first experience like going to DR was just very upsetting and unfortunate. The video that I posted was a literal minute and a half of just me complaining after the fact of like trying to get help from the front desk, and nobody was trying to help us. But we like tried to make the most of it and tried to just laugh our way through the situation and make the best of it. But we did book a excursion that day, so we were off the resort for like at least 6 hours. But I know for breakfast that morning, there was a couple of meats and stuff out. I know we didn't touch them because we didn't know how long ago they were cooked, or if they were really good, or if they were like sitting out for a while. But we mostly stuck to fruit and pastries. We just didn't want to risk it because the food was kind of already questionable to begin with. But after our excursion, we got back to the resort around 6 p.m. and the power was still out, but for only half of the resort. So if you are planning on going, the part of the resort that didn't have power was the one closer to the beach. Our side had running water, but it was cold. It was fine. We still showered, but we just had no electricity, so we had to kind of like shower in the dark or use our like phone flashlights. So when it came to charging our phone or just letting our parents know like if we were okay or not, we had to go to the gym to charge our phones. And there was also like 50 other people in the gym charging their phones. When you walk through the lobby, there was people charging their phones all over the lobby. People were behind the desk of like the customer service, charging their phones, but using like rubber bands to try and hold it together because the plugs were loose. Then when it came time to like complain to customer service and kind of ask if we could have a room switch to the other side or switch to a sister resort or just another resort that had any availability, they told us that there was nothing that they could do and that they were calling other resorts and that there was no availability. I found multiple resorts with open rooms, and when I showed them these resorts, they just said that there was still nothing that they could do. We also asked to speak to a manager and or supervisor just about the situation to see if we could kind of just get a refund for at least the day that we had fully no power. And when we asked to speak to a supervisor, they said that there was none, that he's not on site, that we cannot talk to him. And then when we asked for an email or phone number to contact him, they said that there is no email, there is no phone number. We just have to wait tomorrow to see if we could get a chance to talk to him. And they gave us the same little like slip receipt that was like complaints@ryu.com. I also have an aunt that like is Dominican. She speaks Spanish, and I was trying to make it easier for the customer service agent to like kind of like translate through her, because I know like some of them like know English but not to the full extent. And when like someone's like kind of like complaining at you like or speaking like really fast, or a lot of people are speaking to you at once, it can kind of get confusing, especially when it's not in your first language. Wouldn't like want to like talk to her on the phone, just kind of pushed the phone away, like was not like looking at me, was kind of ignoring my questions, wasn't answering me. He ended up eventually walking away from me mid-conversation, and it wasn't like I was like yelling in his face, like pointing at him, trying to like come to some type of like solution, and he just like didn't want to like hear me out. And I know a lot of people are like, you're on vacation, why are you on your phone? Because one, we need to fill out forms for when we go home, like the e-ticket. We also need to contact our parents because we are college students and they're hearing what's going on with the resort and they're wondering if we're okay. And also, without running water, we need like water in our room, and we're also dehydrated because you can't drink any of like the filter water, you have to drink bottled water. And I'm putting in requests on the app to get water delivered to our room, and they're saying completed, but my friend is in the room saying like they never delivered the water. We end up having to go behind the desk to get water, and I literally have a case of water and I'm like waving like, who wants water? And people are flocking to me like seagulls. Like I ended up like handing out like 2 cases of water, and then also saving some for me and my roommates for just in case the water does go out in the morning. And also, while everything is happening, like here they're still throwing a party, but on the side that does have power, like everyone's like, why would we even want to party right now? Like, we're trying to make the best of the situation, but at that point everyone was so tired and so over it that like we were like, this is just ridiculous. So Thursday morning is when the power turned back on at like 2:30 like a.m. But when we woke up that morning, we were just so over like everything that had happened the previous day, and it was our last day, and we still spent money to be there, and we still had not gotten a refund at that point. So we were just like, we're just gonna enjoy our day, make the best of it. So we had a pretty fun day actually on Thursday. Everything was back on at that point. Friday morning, we ended up leaving. They provided free transportation back to the airport, and I think we got to the airport at like 11. So then at the airport is a whole different story. Like, I swear we're cursed because our flight got delayed like twice. We're fine, we're chilling, we're like, whatever, it happens all the time. Then like our flight gets delayed. It's getting delayed multiple times, and like the multiple times that it's getting delayed is adding up to like us being in the airport for 6 hours. So we're talking to like the staff, like wondering if we just can get transferred to a different flight, because there was other flights like back to Boston or to New York, and like we could just figure out our way from there. They end up transferring us to this flight, this layover flight. So we stop in New York, and then from New York we go to Boston. And as we're boarding this flight, we're sitting on the tarmac waiting to like get picked up by the bus to take us to the plane. And as we're sitting there, then the staff comes down and is like, oh, like you should probably go back to the gate. Like we found like maintenance issues. Mind you, our first flight got delayed because of maintenance issues. Now our second flight is getting delayed again because of maintenance issues. So like this is when we kind of realized like maybe we were cursed, or like maybe we have some type of bad luck, because like we haven't had like a full day where like nothing has happened. Like everything just keeps happening to us back to back to back. And I think like at this point, like my friend was just like crying because she was just like, I just want to go home. So now we're just sitting here for our flight to like be fixed. I think it turned around to like 8 p.m. now, and we're just like sitting, waiting. We're getting so tired because we've been at the airport since 11 a.m. this morning. Also, as we're sitting here waiting for the news, we're getting really, really itchy. Looking at our bites, and we're like, are these mosquito bites? We're like, but these like don't look like mosquito bites. We look up like bed bug bites, and they look the exact same. Like they're red, they're clustered. We're not a specialist. We don't know if they were mosquito or bed bug bites, but they looked a lot like bed bug bites. So do with that information what you will. Then an hour and a half later, around like 9:30, we get an email and like a notification from JetBlue that our flight's been canceled. And there's no other flights going out because the flight we were originally on that then got canceled, and then the flight that they transferred us to that then got canceled were the last two flights out that night from DR to like either New York or Boston or anywhere like remotely close to us. Per like JetBlue guidelines, they have to set you up at like a hotel or something like overnight and provide you like transportation. And they're also supposed to provide you with a meal voucher when this like stuff happens. But they're calling out these flight numbers of people and like setting them up at different resorts and like arranging them by time that they have to leave based on their flight. And we're like realizing that like our flight number isn't being called. So we walk up and we're like, hey, like we just want to know like what bus are we on? Like where are we going? You know, what time are we going to get picked up tomorrow? We tell her the flight number and she's like, oh, like this one wasn't on the list. And like we swear like this is our bad luck again. Like how are we the only flight that was not on the list? So we don't leave the airport to like go to the resort until like around like 11:30. So that is now a full 12 plus hours in the airport. But once we get like to the resort, we went to Dream Onyx. They were waiting for us at the front door with like mimosas, with water. They took our bags. They let us check in. They gave us 2 rooms for 4 of us so that we each had our own bed. And like immediately once we pull up to this resort, we can just tell it's like so much nicer than where we were previously staying. And like granted, we looked it up and it's like $600 a night, which is not what we were paying at Ryu because we're college students, and who can afford that besides like someone with like a full-time job. But the staff is like so nice and welcoming. They know our situation and how long we've been at the airport and how tired we are. And like this was just a complete 180 from the entire trip that we had. They actually put us in premium suites. Thank you, JetBlue. I think they knew that we had a rough day and that they messed up. But mind you, we knew we had to get picked up by 1 because we needed at least 3 hours in the airport, they said, because Saturdays are very, very busy. Keep that in mind. So the next morning comes around. We spend our day just like walking around enjoying the resort because like why not? We're here for free on JetBlue's dime. And we don't want to waste this extra day that we have in DR. So we're supposed to get picked up by 1. We're by the lobby by 1. No sign of transportation. Time is passing and we're like, where is the transportation? We tell like the supervisor that's, and he calls them and he's like, hey, like, you know, for flight blank blank, like we have these 4 girls, like they're supposed to be picked up at 1. And then they tell us that we're not being picked up until 2:15. So then we're like, whatever, like we're still a little bit upset, but we're like, whatever, like it's fine, like we'll just like hang around the resort, like it's nice here. Then we don't get picked up until 2:30, which is the time the other group was supposed to get picked up because their flight was later. So then we're on the bus. We go to pick up other people at Breathless. Then we have to loop back to our resort to pick up other people that I guess that were late. We don't get to the airport until like 3:30, and our flight boards in an hour. We end up having to like speak to like a whole bunch of different like workers at each checkpoint to like help us like skip the line or like go into like shorter lines for like accessibility. And like we make our way like through the airport, thank God. And literally 5 minutes after we get to our gate, they're already boarding. But we make it onto our flight and we end up landing, I think in Boston around like 8:30 that night. And JetBlue did email us an apology and a hefty credit for everything that we had gone throughout like the past like day and a half. But that is our like spring break horror story.
Hey, man, check this out. Y'all better stop going to these third world countries. Y'all want to go to DR, man. Them dudes over there playing baseball for their life to get away from there. And y'all want to go over there for a vacation? Okay. Listen, these guys are over there playing baseball for their life. And y'all want to go over there and throw on a thong bikini and roll around in they sands and then complain about the power going off. Sammy Sosa told y'all 40 years ago that DR wasn't crap. And people been telling y'all for the last 40 years that the DR still ain't crap. And y'all still go over there. Y'all still go to the Dominican Republic. I see videos. Now, I'm not down in the Dominican Republic. I'm not saying it's a bad country. It's beautiful in its spots. I ain't never been there. And guess what? I'm not going. Reason why? Because they are playing baseball to save their life. They are throwing 150-mile-an-hour pitches in the 5th grade so they can get off that damn island. I will not go to an island where kids are raised to throw 150-mile-an-hour fastballs, okay? They trying to get off that damn island. And you expect me to... it might look beautiful, but you better have $600 a night. Okay? Don't go over there as a college student think you finna go have a good time. Okay? You gonna be sitting over there in the dark. Over there holding your charger up with a cup. Okay? They're talking about, I had a bad time. No, you had a broke time. You couldn't afford that time. Okay? Stop going to these places and y'all thinking y'all about to have these good times and you over here trashing DR and making them look bad. You just didn't have no money. You might as well be trying to throw a 150-mile-an-hour fastball. Shit, you tripping. You ain't got no 150-mile-an-hour fastball. That's what's wrong with you. You over there trying to have a good time and you can't because you ain't got no money. That's what's wrong with her. For real, honey mama, they tripping. They tripping for real. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have money to go to these third world countries. They talking about, these people live off the land. They climb the trees and knock the coconut down and eat the coconut. And they go out there with a spear and catch the fish and throw the fish on the grill. And what you think? You as a college student, you who have been bred to, go in the fridge and go get whatever you want, get your toaster strudel, get your, you go get your peanut butter and jelly with the Uncrustable. You get your peanut butter and the jelly in the same piece of thing, and you supposed to go open up your package and eat your peanut butter and jelly. Whereas me, I had to go spread peanut butter, spread jelly on some old ass bread. And the peanut butter if you got that that welfare peanut butter, you got to keep it in the fridge because it come in a can and you can't put the lid back on top of it. So in order to keep the roaches off, you got to keep it in the fridge, and so it be hard coming out. So you got to let it sit out a little bit. You got to let it sit out 30 minutes before you start to spread it on your bread, or it's going to tear your bread up. Okay, so that's how they live over there. And then you expect your broke ass college student ass to go over there and have a good time, and you can't live off the land, girl. You better, that's your fault. You go over there trying to diss DR, it's you. It's really you. You thought you was about to go over there and have a good time. Broke. No, ma'am. No. You should have just went to a trail ride, stupid. Y'all over here trying to go to damn DR for spring break. I want to go to DR for spring break. Oh, girl, we're going to have a good time. We only got $100 to our name. Okay, you going to be out there living like the locals. Girl, we ain't got no sympathy for you because you went out there broke. We gonna have some sympathy for you because you a college student, girl. No, we went to this place. It was $600 a night. You know they have a real job. Yeah, that's what you should have had for you took your ass out to a third world country, fool. Man, y'all. I would never. No, girl, you is silly. You better stop your shit. I can't believe people actually feel sorry for her. There's somebody said next time bring extra money for mishaps. Yeah, like $600 extra a night. Okay. She didn't have extra money. That's the point. She didn't have it. Everybody want to receive credit or compensation for the resort. Man, the resort didn't have the credit or compensation. You see how they was. Man, let me show y'all the comments, man, because everybody, they don't be believing. It says, next time bring extra money. Yeah, right, okay. Did you receive credit or compensation? Girl, oh my God, me and my friends were on that first Boston flight on Friday, too, and had to figure out a different way home. So glad you got home safe. We canceled ahead of time. Are you home? Look at all these people in DR, stupid asses. Y'all was all broke. It's a damn shame. Anyway, those are the comments. Shout out to the comment section because they be lying too. Everybody in the comment section be lying.